it turned into my house. Like, that's how I purchased my house, because I sold it just last year, so five years later. And, I think, I don't know how many, I need to look back, but I had a lot of shares of Shopify by that time. And I was able to, it came up to like $50,000 or something along those lines. Yeah.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building, a treat for you, as I always say. We got xoReni, Reni the resource.
Reni the resource.
Hello.
Reni, what's good with you? How are you?
I'm good. It's been a good day so far.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm living life. How about you guys?
We're blessed.
Good.
And highly favored.
Good. We love to see it.
I am fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So I did a little bit of background research into you, and I noticed that, first off, you have African roots.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And your parents are very adamant about financial literacy.
They are.
So talk to us about that. Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria, Papa.
Nigeria in the building.
And yeah, my parents have been teaching me about financial literacy probably since I was born. But like, the first thing I can remember is when I was about 4 years old. Yeah, I moved to Canada when I was 4 years old from England, and my parents opened a bank account, and I still remember it because I cried thinking, oh, my money's like away from me, basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they opened my bank account when I was 4 years old, and every time I would get money from like an uncle or an aunt who would visit, they would be like, 50% of it has to go into the bank account. And I was like, it was sad at the time, but now like obviously it paid off in the long run. Mm-hmm. And then when I turned 18, they taught me about investing, and I bought a house because of it. But I guess we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So you were born in England.
Yes, I was.
And then moved to Canada. 4 years old. Like, where did your parents land in Canada?
Same house that I'm living in now.
Same house.
Yeah, so Mississauga. We landed there, and I've been there ever since.
Brothers, sisters.
I have one sister. She was 1 when we moved here. Yeah. So yeah, I've lived in the same house literally my whole life.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So all these years they're accumulating money for you, and you as like a young kid, it's like, you're seeing all this money pile up. Were you ever tempted to want to make a purchase or want to spend that money as things showed up, like toys, trips?
Yeah, I wasn't really, because like it was 50% could go in your bank account and 50% could be for you. So it was like, I still have money to spend on myself. And I think I just learned not to be a big spender because of that, because I was like, okay, as your money is growing, so now say I'm getting $100 a month because aunties and uncles are giving me money. Now I'm making, say, $100 a week, and it's like, oh, putting $50 away each week is not a big deal. So, I don't know. I've never been a big spender.
So
like that.
You couldn't see it. You're like, you can't see it. You don't mind it. It's just like whatever. It's gone.
Exactly. Even to this day, like, my money automatically comes out of my check and goes straight into my bank account. Yeah. So, I don't miss it because I never see it.
Damn. As a young kid growing up, like, I remember my parents used to, I used to get presents from my aunties and uncles. They used to give me money. But my mom will take that money and we need this for groceries. We need this for other things.
They'll hold it for you.
I'll hold it for you. And you never see that money again. Sometimes I still think about those moments I used to get money and oh, mom, what happened to that $200 I got from uncle, whatever. It's I'll give it to you later. Yeah. Never saw it again.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh, we used it to, we're raising you with this
money.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
These are some challenges you grew up with money in the building. And but hey, we're here now.
Yeah.
So you're coming up, you're learning about money. Did you really, what point did you really grasp money and financial literacy is important? Because as a young kid, you can imagine you're just living your life as a young girl. But when did it really click for you that this is a key thing for me moving forward in life?
I feel like it was maybe when I was in my teens and I got my first job, and maybe I don't know how old I was, maybe 15 or 16, I got my first job, and I was working at a basketball league, and I was just doing scorekeeping for them. But it would be $400 each weekend, and it was a lot of money to me. Yeah. So, but still at that time, my dad was like, nope, $200 has to go into your bank account, $200 is for you. And I think I didn't understand it at that point, but then they started telling me my dad started showing me his investing account. I think that's what made it all change. He started showing me the importance of like, oh, see, I can put $400, but then it can grow to $500 just by keeping it in your account. And I think maybe that's when the switch happened for me.
The light bulb happened.
Yeah.
Eh?
And then what really like changed things for me was when I turned 18 or 19, and then all my friends were getting credit cards, and I also got a credit card when I turned 18. And my friend was telling me, oh, you know, you only have to pay the minimum balance, right? And I was like, wait, what? Like, my dad taught me the opposite. You do not know. She's like, no, my mom taught me that, you know, you have to only pay the minimum balance. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you pay the minimum balance, there's no problem. And I was like, sis, I don't think that's how it works.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. And then I realized that, like, a lot of people aren't financially literate. I think that was a switch. Like, oh, my upbringing wasn't normal. Like, most people have to learn this stuff on their own. I was grateful to have learned it before, but yeah, most people don't learn it before that.
Let's go a little bit deeper. Like, what other things did your dad teach you that was impactful for you?
I think the concept of delayed gratification was something that he really taught me. My mom too. She's gonna get mad when she listens to this and doesn't hear her name, so I'm gonna throw in her name. But yeah, she. For example, if I wanted candy and we're at the gas station, my dad would be like, okay, this is a little expensive. Like, you're paying $4 for a pack of Skittles when we could just go to Walmart and get it for $2. Like, just little things like that. Even though you may think, oh, like, it's so annoying in the moment, it actually teaches you, okay, like, if you just wait a little bit longer, you can get what you want still, but it come at a lower cost, and it won't cost you that much. And then also, just as I said, teaching me about credit when I was very young was a game changer, because when I turned 18 and when you go to university, like, push credit cards at you.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you get a free iPad, you get a free this. Yeah, they pushed those at me, but I knew how to use them already, so it wasn't a big deal. Whereas, as I said, my friends were using it.
Splurging,
they thought it was
Beyonce tickets, everything. You know, those Beyonce tickets are like $500, and people just put a credit card on
Max out that credit card.
Max out, and that's like a student credit card too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
mad.
that, I think, teaching me about credit was a game changer. And then when I turned 18, my dad taught me about investing. I'm pretty sure I bought my first stock like when I was 8, like on my birthday probably. So yeah, they taught me a lot.
So your dad seems like a guy who's like, you know, he learned a lot about money. He's been about this. Give us his history and background into finance and personal finance that he's like, I got to make sure my sons and daughters, like when I have a family, are set for life, like by knowing these principles. Yeah.
So surprisingly, he didn't grow up financially. Like, I wouldn't say his parents knew anything about financial literacy. They were middle class, so they weren't struggling at all. But I wouldn't say they were building any wealth growing up. And then when my dad was 18 or 19, I think he moved to England by himself. So he was on his own for the first time. And then he read a book. I think it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm pretty sure. The typical...
Legendary
And
book.
Growing up, he actually used to play those, the audio tapes for us, my sister and I.
Get out of here.
Like, imagine, like, 6-year-old kids
programming
in the car.
you.
Literally. Like, we were in the car just listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. So, and then he started listening to a lot of audiobooks. He started reading a lot of books and taught himself how to invest. And he did pretty well, like, when he first started. He, like, bought Amazon 20, 30, like...
You're lying.
But he sold it, and he says that's a big regret of his, but he sold it, like, after it was up a bit, he sold it.
You know, actually, I just saw you recently posted, copied a tweet and you posted on IG about if you had bought these stocks, like 5 years ago, this is how much, you know, so I saw that and I was so triggered because I had bought Shopify stock when it was like $220.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
I bought like 4 shares and I was like still in the college life, living in the basement and everything. Yeah. So a year and a half goes by, it's at like $400 a share. And at that point, like I stopped getting shifts at Good Life Fitness because that was my part-time job. And I had no money for rent because it was exam season and I'd taken a break. So I liquidated that stock just to pay my rent. And I forgot about, I'll get back again. I'll get back in a decent position. And boom, now it's at $1,000 and I don't know, is it $1,200 a share now?
1.3, yeah.
1.3, yeah. I was like one of my biggest regrets ever. So
I have the opposite story actually.
What happened?
So I bought it around the $200 mark. I was working at Payless at the time, making like $9 an hour. So I wasn't making much, but every 2 weeks, as I said, like every time I got paid, I'd put half of it into Shopify. Like no other stock. It was just
Shopify.
Bullish on
You believed in it like that. Yeah.
And then it turned into my house. Like that's how I purchased my house because I sold it just last year, so five years later. And you know, I think I don't know how many. I need to look back, but I had a lot of shares of Shopify by that time. and I was able to it came up to like $50,000 or something along those lines. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a lot of money. Yeah. And I was like, shout out my dad for telling me about this stock, first of all. But
so did your dad hold? Like, did you learn from Amazon? Like, I better
yes, hold. Yes, he held. He still holds some Shopify that he bought. He bought it even before the 200s. Like he was in it from time. And of course he had more money to put in it than I did. Of course. Yeah. So I'm sure I'm sure his portfolio is looking pretty nice right now. Yeah.
So let's dive into this house. You know what I'm saying? Because buying a house as a Torontonian
and at 23
is a big statement. So you bought your house at 23. Mm-hmm. Walk us through that.
So I purchased. So as I said, my portfolio was doing pretty well. One day my dad was just like, "How's your portfolio doing?" And I showed him my portfolio, and he was like, "It's time to buy a house." And I was like,
how much you talking about?
I think it was like $60,000 or $70,000 at that point in time. So Shopify was literally most of it.
It was like your whole asset allocation.
Yeah, I had to empty my whole portfolio basically to purchase the house because my down payment was around $60,000. But yeah, my dad was like, "Oh, it's time to purchase the house," and I was like, "No, like that doesn't sound good to me. I don't want to purchase the house." I just didn't have any interest in it because I was like, the house is in the GTA or it's too expensive for what I can afford at this point in time. He's like, "You don't need to live in it. Just go and rent it out." And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. And I met up with a realtor, looked at a few houses. I wasn't really into it, to be honest. I was just like going with the flow. But then we found a really nice pre-construction, and I had a whole year before it would close. So my dad was like, so it was like, okay, I have some more time to like get more money in my portfolio. And then in 2020, I closed on it. And yeah, I don't know. I've been renting it out ever since then. And the rent pays the mortgage as well, plus some. So.
Oh, you have a surplus.
Yes, $700 surplus right now. So.
Quickly going back to, selling your Shopify stock.
Yes.
A lot of people got to remember that you got to pay like the capital gains yield on a stock. Like, how is that? Walk us through that process of like selling the stock, like, and the tax implications of selling that Shopify stock with that massive gain.
So it's actually all in my TFSA, so I didn't have to pay any capital gains tax.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah, so obviously I didn't sell anything in my RRSP, but the Shopify that I held in my TFSA, it was tax-free.
It's tax-free.
We love it. Yeah.
Tax-free savings account.
Yes, the best.
Most definitely. So was it hard finding tenants?
No, actually. So it closed in, I got my keys, pre-occupancy closing or something like that in, September of 2019. But I couldn't find tenants till January, which I don't think is that long, but
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you pay an occupancy fee, which is like $1,200 a month, and then I got them in January. They stayed for a year, and then I got new tenants right after that. So, and I got to increase the rent as well when they left. They actually bought a house. So.
Oh, who were you renting to?
A family. I was like, no students. Not happening.
Those Western kids ain't touching your house.
Yeah, no,
no Fanshawe kids.
Nah, I actually chose a house that was not in the student area as well. So it'd be too far for them. Even if they wanted the house, they'd have to have a car in order to get to school. So nah.
Yeah, my parents have like notorious cases about students. Like, so we have 2 properties in London at the same time. Mm-hmm. And we had this one chick who just messed up. It was just dirty. Like we actually spent more money redoing construction on the house because.
What did she do?
It was a lot of piping stuff because the toilet, she messed up the whole toilet.
How? She was.
I don't think I want to share the story on the podcast.
Okay.
But
nah, go for it, bro.
This should be another episode.
We here. You have entered the door. Go for it.
The cat's out the bag. All right. So essentially, what happened is. She was never really communicating with my dad about like, because my dad is just there. He's in London. He's going back to, so my family lives in Sarnia, right?
Oh, okay.
And he used to like drive back to London like maybe every 2 weeks. So she didn't tell him that there is a piping issue where the toilet can't flush properly.
Is she a student?
She's a student, exactly. Mm. So she kept, doing her business number 2, 3, or whatever. It's not peeing, but she kept doing her business in that, right?
Yeah.
And she just kept like dropping it like it's hot every single time. Boom, 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 boom. So she tells my dad like I'm moving out, and I think this is like close to like COVID. Like this is early February. He's like, hey, I'm moving out. I'm gonna leave the house, whatever, and my dad's like, okay, cool, leave it with the other tenants, leave your keys with the other tenants.
Oh, he didn't do a walkthrough?
I mean, I wasn't there.
Okay.
I was here in Toronto, so I'm like, he kind of has a lot of things going on. He has like his side business, he has the 2 homes, he has a family and everything.
Yeah.
So him and my mom come to do like a walkthrough of the house and check up. So they go to the bath. No, they walk in. They're like, yo, like, what is that smell?
Oh,
like,
no.
raw, like, what is going on in this joint? So they go open like the toilet, the bathroom. Then it gets even more intense, the smell. They open up the toilet bowl, like the thing. They find like a heap of just like, human waste just right there. It was like a hill. Right,
a hill.
It was like a hill, bro. It was like it was touching. Yeah. It was like where like the peak of the toilet. It was
maybe I shouldn't have went to the door.
That's why I didn't want to say the story, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much they had to call in someone to like remove the toilet bowl, remove everything, and just like clean up. It was such a mess.
Did you keep her deposit?
Pardon?
Did they keep her deposit?
I didn't even ask. It was just such a mess. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't want to get into details with my pops and ask him like, yo, like, what's going on here? That's his house, right? Yeah. So I'm like, that's your thing. Damn. But these are some horror stories you can have with tenants if you don't vet them properly.
I know. I'm so glad I vetted mine. Like, I turned down so many people just because I was vetting them. One trick my dad has, because he owns my parents own a few properties, is they will. Like when they call the reference, you can put anyone as your reference. It can be your friend, right? So say my house is 1555, and then, or say they put that their last house was 155 Dundas Street. I will say, hey, I'm just calling to check the references for 1556. And if that person if like their landlord doesn't correct you, you know that they're probably not the landlord. And it works every time. So people didn't correct me. I'm like, you're probably not a real reference. So my tenants so far have been good. Fingers crossed. So far they've been really good. And I chose families. So even the husband right now, he will like paint stuff. Like he's doing the most.
Take care of your
I'm like,
house.
Thank God. Like he takes care of it like it's his own house. So.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Is there any occupations you zone in on?
No, actually I haven't. But my place is close to a lot of there's like 3 hospitals in London.
Nurses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nurses are the gem.
Yeah, they have the money. They don't work. They're not home very often.
So your house isn't getting damaged like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Most definitely. So let's pivot for a second, because you have left your job. You know what I'm saying, and are now being a full-time content creator, entrepreneur. So walk us through that process. Where were you before, and where are you now?
So I was working at the Bank of Montreal in their wealth management department. I was a marketing manager there. I worked at the BMO since 2016. So I did a few internships, and I was a business analyst, and I was a marketing manager. And I decided to leave in October of 2021, just because I was tired. I was fed up.
What were you tired of?
I was tired of being overworked and underpaid. Not that like I'm lots of people are paid way less, so I was fortunate for what I was getting paid, but like the amount of work I was doing the work of 2 people basically without getting paid the salary of 2 people. So I was like, I could just focus all my energy on my side hustle and do a lot better in that. So I make some more money, because I find that with your side hustle, the more energy you put in it, the more money. Unlike with work, if I'm putting in 12-hour days, I'm not getting paid anymore. So yeah, for me at least, I couldn't clock overtime there.
And what year did you start working at BMO?
2016.
2016, and you just quit after how many years?
5 years. 5 years. Yeah, but I had 5 different jobs in those 5 years, so it's not like I was on the same team for the whole time. But
got you.
Yeah, because I get bored easily. That's probably another reason why I had to leave corporate. I get bored very easily.
Yeah, you need a challenge.
Yeah. So after like a few months in a row, I'm like, okay, I've learned everything. Like, what's the next thing? So. Yeah.
Most definitely. So how'd you strategize leaving? Was it just like, all right, yo, I'm quitting tomorrow, and I'm just, deuces? Or did you actually strategize your exit?
Yeah, I definitely strategized my exit.
Walk us through that.
So first thing was money-wise. I don't like to ask my parents for anything. So I already live rent-free in the house. So I'm like, that's as much as I'm going to ask them for. I'm not going to ask them for anything else.
I like that. Sorry to cut you off. I like that you still live at home while owning your own property, you know what I'm saying? That's a big thing. A lot of us do. A lot of us believe you have to live outside of the property, outside of our parents in order to be somewhat successful, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, continue.
Yes, thanks. So I was like, first, financially, I need to make sure I can support myself. So I looked at my share ownership plan from BMO, and I saw that I had like $20,000 in shares at that time. So I was like, okay, this is like a nice cushion. You know, if YouTube is not making any money, then, you know, it is, then at least I have this $20,000 I can have as a security blanket. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I actually left, it grew to $25,000. And then I saved up an extra $5,000 just in cash, just some extra. I feel like $30,000 is a lot to save up. Like, I don't think you actually need that to quit a job, but it just made me feel comfortable enough to leave my job. Yeah. And then the next thing I did was I made sure that I just left on good terms with everyone, just in case I ever was like, okay, I don't want to do this YouTube thing anymore. Let me come back. Because I know, to be honest, I know I'm a great employee. Like, I know I'm one of the best employees that team ever saw. So I was like, if I ever want to come back, I just want to make sure I'm not burning any bridges. True. So I give them 3 weeks notice instead of 2 weeks notice. Like, I made sure to like ease them in, transition it nicely, just so that if anything happened, I'd be able to go back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you think 30K is a good number? What number would you say for our audience? Mm-hmm. What number would you say is a good number for them to strategize, you know, or push towards before they quit?
I really think it depends on the person. Like, it's all about what you're comfortable with. Most people would say 3 to 6 months of expenses is what you should save up. So if your expenses are $3,000 a month, you know, 3 to 6 months of expenses will be what you save up. I just thought $30,000 sounded like a number that I was comfortable with. I don't have many expenses anyways, right? As long as I can cover my rent each month, or like my mortgage, not my rent, each month, in case my tenants leave, and then some food, and you know, I don't have many expenses, so I feel like it was easy for me to leave. I know you
had a great setup to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm very fortunate and privileged to be able to stay with them, my parents rent free. But I feel like some people will leave with $0 in the bank. Personally, I don't suggest that. But you know, some people are like, I'm just tired, let me leave. If they can make it work, they can make it work. I can't do that.
So one thing I know about your content creator journey is you're doing a lot more lifestyle stuff for some time.
Yes.
And then you transitioned into doing more financial topics and, you know, all that field. Mm-hmm. What told you this is the right time to go into being a financial brand as Reni the Resource, and like walk us through setting up that personal brand from being like a lifestyle blogger, from doing fashion stuff and etc.
I feel like I always had like Reni the Resource. I didn't officially make it my name, but like people would call me that in my personal life.
Really?
Yeah.
The resource.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, "Oh, you're so resourceful." Like even at work, "Oh, you know everything. Like you're so resourceful." So I feel like the transition, it's all about what's going on in my life at that point in time. When I bought my house, that's when I was like, so many people had questions for me. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to transition into finance, because like people are wondering how I bought my house. I've always been sharing stuff about finances on my story, but I guess people didn't really tap in until they see the fruit, you know? Yeah. So
I didn't really tap it in until like you retweeted that one tweet with a guy. Is like the house, the owner. Yeah. And then like it was like the house that you just bought.
Exactly. See, no one tapped in.
And you're like, Ron, like how did she do this at 23?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah. 5 years of investing, that's how I did it.
Yeah. Big ups to you again.
Thank you.
So now with leaving the job and taking full-time content creation, right? Walk us through the trajectory of how you've been able to sustain yourself. You know, because right now you don't have much expenses, so that might not be the situation for a lot of our audience members, you know. But how have you been able to create multiple streams of revenue for yourself as a content creator?
I guess I'll backtrack and say that before I quit, also I made sure to have multiple streams of income, so that
set up.
So like leaving my earned income, which was my full-time job, wasn't a big deal because I had like other streams of income. So affiliate income, for example. So like I'm a partner with EQ Bank now, with Wealth Simple, with a bunch of different places. So every time someone signs up, I'm getting paid for that. So some of the programs will pay $80 per sign up. Some of them will pay $10. Like it really depends. But yes, like they pay pretty well. It's passive income as well.
But it's a volume game, right? So
yeah.
So do you see the volume really coming through like that, or is it more so like I'm seeing trickles here and there? Like, and it does depend on YouTube videos and how much of what's the economics of it? Like, for instance, 1,000 videos would equate to 10 people signing up, or is it like you need 50,000, 100,000 people in order to get those signups to actually equate to something substantial?
I would say I don't even have very high views. Like I get 40,000 views a month on my YouTube, so it's not like incredibly high. But one thing about me and my personal brand is that I convert people to to paying customers. Like that's when I pitch companies, that's what I say. Like my whole brand is that I'm able to convert people from just viewing to paying customers. So like one video can get me 50 people signing up. It's like, even though maybe 1,000 people will watch it, like, or 50 people will sign up. So it's I have a very high conversion rate, I would say, which is why brands like to work with me.
What do you think? What do you think it is about you that makes it easy for people to convert with you than other people within the same lane?
I think they trust me. And that's what I really value. And I make sure that everything that I review, I'm very honest about. So they know that even if a brand's paying me to do a review, like a glasses brand recently paid me, I'm going to be very honest. Like, I hated these. I love these. Like, I'm extremely honest. I'm transparent. I'm never going to promote something that I don't like. For example, a brand just sent me some products. They were going to pay me $2,000 to do a YouTube video. Like it was a pretty, and it was US dollars. So I was like, this is a great that deal.
Conversion though.
Yeah.
What is that? That's like 2,800.
Yeah. I don't know. It was sweet. So I was like, oh, this is.
You're
this
eating.
Is
I'm good.
And then I received the products, and they just weren't up to my standards. And I was like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to return this money to you. Like, they had already paid me half the money. I was like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to return this money to you. Also, when I received it, there were $100 in customs fees that they obviously covered. But I'm like, you guys aren't going to cover these for my followers. So I don't want my followers to buy products that are worth $30 and get charged $100. And the math's not mathing. So, so things like that. Like, I don't think I told many people about that, but those are things that, like, my friends were all like, why don't you just take the money? Like, who cares? But it's I don't know, it's my conscience. I can't accept.
No, you gotta treat your audience like gold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So they really trust me, and I value that.
Most definitely. That's a big gem though, you know. A lot of people think that in order to be a successful YouTuber, you need to have thousands upon thousands of views. That like, yo, this video got 500 views. Yeah. This video got 2,000 views.
Yeah.
But no, in actuality, it's about the actual quality of the viewer.
Yeah. Actually, like, there's a stat that most YouTubers, their AdSense income from YouTube is only about like 25% of their total income. Mm-hmm. So it's not about the view. Like, AdSense is based on views, but I think the affiliate income and like the actual brand partnerships are where the real money is.
Most definitely. So now let's get into the brand partnerships. We were talking about affiliates. How has that been for you as a content creator? So
far, so good. I feel like I've been undercharging for the value that I add. So price going up soon. Price going up. But yeah, so far.
Yesterday's price?
Is not today's price.
Facts.
Yeah, so a lot of brands have just been reaching out to me. I haven't really pitched many brands, so it's really cool to see how my personal brand has just been attracting new brands to me. Like, I just got one yesterday. Today, I checked my email. I had 3 more brands who reached out to me. But I do say a lot. I do say no to the majority of them, I will say, just because it's not aligned with who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's going.
What are the things that consistently? I keep hearing that actually. That hey, these aren't aligning with me.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that like are just not aligning with you that you keep seeing? Because we're anticipating that too. And you get some offers that are like, this don't make no damn sense for me. Do you get a lot of Bitcoin people and like?
I actually haven't so far.
Really?
You do?
We've gotten a few of those. We've gotten some podcast apps, some Shopify apps, those some other ones.
Podcast apps make sense, no?
No, we're not a podcast platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not teaching people how to be better podcasters.
Okay.
We don't have
audio people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're not, that's not really our lane. We're more so like a business entrepreneurship lane.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We'll have like a 1-2, but like, you're not like, come here to learn how to podcast better. Because we're still learning too.
Yeah,
you know?
fair enough.
We're still students of the game.
Fair enough.
Most definitely. So, yeah, that's what's been the thing that hasn't been aligned with us yet. So how about you?
Yeah, I feel like because I have lifestyle as part of my brand, any brand thinks like, oh, we're part of your lifestyle. Like, for example, a makeup brand will come up to me and I'm like, bro, well, right now I'm wearing makeup, but usually I don't wear much makeup. So it's like, why? If you guys want a tutorial on makeup, you guys are reaching to the wrong person. Or like a coffee brand reached out to me. I don't drink coffee, so I'm not going to just promote coffee for the sake of promoting coffee.
You can forward them to us. We coffee drinkers over here.
I am. I'm like, I guzzle like 4 cups a day.
bruh.
Yeah, I know. I just like being energetic and just upbeat about. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it gives me a little wake up.
4 cups though.
I mean, it's I think it's kind of like smoking. It's you just like having a hot beverage on your hand. So I just like feeling like I'm sipping something hot at all times.
Fair
right?
enough.
And coffee's like one of those drinks.
Hot water, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most definitely. Just take a quick second and take a quick break and get back into the pod. Just give me a second to exit.
Give me a second to exit. Okay,
all
cool.
right, cool. Want to take a quick breather? You know what I'm saying? How you feeling?
I'm good.
All right. So far, so fun. Like, we just chilling.
Yeah.
30 minutes in, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, we did 30 minutes already?
It flies by when you're having fun.
That was...
All right. Boom. This cable is not long enough. I'm like here, like.
Yeah, I noticed, dog. I'm just. I'm like, Alex, you're in the same position for like a while.
I'm like holding on.
I'm like, how's the audio sounding?
Audio's good.
Does Reni's mic need to be closer or?
So far, she's good.
Okay, cool. Because I was thinking about it, a
little far.
Yeah, but the wires are kind of. The wires are kind of like finicky, so it's a good thing we're taking a break so we can check.
All right.
Good.
So what podcast do you listen to? Actually, no. I heard you listen to Guy Raz. You're back, by the way.
Oh, I love him.
We're back in the cut.
I love Guy Raz.
Do you listen to How I Built This?
Yes, and Wisdom from the Top. Both of his podcasts. I love him. I feel like he's the best podcast host.
He has a great way of interviewing.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talented.
Most
I listen to a lot of podcasts, so.
What's your top 5?
Top five.
I don't know. This is hard. I listen to gossip podcasts too, though. Like,
yeah, right?
like the Receipts podcast.
Okay.
It's a British podcast. I listen to. I don't know. I can't remember them offhand, but I listen to a lot. A lot of them.
I'm happy to shout some out. I love The Friend Zone. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah, I listened to the episode with the Budgetnista actually. That's
that was fire. Shout out the Budgetnista. Yeah. You know, that episode was fire. I listened to them. The Read. Every now and then, because sometimes they're just like a little toxic towards men. It's keeping it a buck, you know.
Up,
Rory and Mal, from The Brilliant Idiots for sure.
Wait, Rowan, they have their own podcast now?
Yeah, Rory and Mal have their own podcast. It's like top 5.
Oh,
you know
that's good.
Where? You want to check on that?
Yeah, it sounded like.
Yeah, so that's my top 5 right now. And Hustle for Everything.
I Said What I Said. Have you heard of that podcast?
Nah, who's that by?
It's like a Nigerian podcast, actually. So good. It's gist again, like it's like gossip or answering questions. I really like it. And then Two Hot Takes podcast is another.
I think I've heard of that one.
They basically read out Reddit submissions and react to them. Yeah, really good.
All right, so seeing that you're a Nigerian,
what's up with that?
You might is the card full? We have another card if you need me.
Card is full.
So we have another podcast I think you might love. Have you seen Jesus and Jollof?
Oh yeah, but they stopped. Yeah, I listen to every episode of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, but they stopped.
Or
Love you and
Yvonne Orgy is memory card? I got another one. Here, let's switch it up. We can jump back in. All right, guys, and we are back. So we were just talking about podcasts. You said you like Matt Raz's podcast, Guy Raz.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't listened to it like that.
You need to listen. If you like entrepreneurship podcasts, How I Built This is it.
I listened. I like crushed every episode, but I felt like it was very scripted. Like I feel like he kind of prompts the guest to the answer. I'm like,
I think what he does is he does a lot of research beforehand, so he already knows the story. So it's not like he's he's guiding them through it. And I think also maybe they do posts where they like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like he's storytelling and then guiding them to the answers.
Like, so I did do that. I'm like, but what if like they had something that led them to do that we could have found out what the actual little mini stories that built up to that. That's what I really want to know, because I was listening to the Spanx one with Sarah Blakely, and I love her story, but the whole time it just felt like he was guiding the whole thing. I'm like, come on. It sounds like I was just listening to the Forbes article in audio.
Oh my God. You should listen to Wisdom from the Top.
Wisdom from the Top?
That's also, but it's less storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically interviews top entrepreneurs or leaders. So the CEO of Pepsi and stuff like that. And then they mostly tell their story rather than the other way around. Yeah.
That's my type of vibe.
Yeah. It does feel a little bit too staged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I personally like a good freestyle versus a good, you know what I'm saying, overproduced thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that comes with podcasts, that there's like a fine balance, I find. Even with content as well, like creating something that's super overproduced versus something that is organic. You see someone's organic reaction versus something that's like completely scripted, completely guided. And it's like, if he goes out of it, it's like, no, cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's don't rock with those.
The ones that like where you feel like you're in the room listening, especially if you're lying down like on a train, like if you're on the train or you're in bed and you're just listening, like remember tax season. It felt just like guys are chopping it up in the room and you're like, oh man, like I love what they're talking about. I'm just like a fly on the wall listening to this. Like,
I think that's why I like gist or gossip podcasts, like the Receipts podcast and stuff like that. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Like you're friends with them and you're just listening to them in the room.
Chop it up.
Yeah. But I still love How I Built This. I still love it.
Word. You know what? I was thinking about that one day. Like, we should try to do like our own version, not our own version of How I Built This, but our own version of storytelling in the podcast form, you know, with the guests. I think that could be an interesting thing to try out.
Maybe a good project to try.
You know?
I feel like it's very difficult to do.
You know, it's a lot of production.
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of edits, sound design.
Yeah, and he has a whole team, right?
Whole team.
Yeah.
And he has NPR team.
Yeah,
helping him
literally.
out.
Yeah, when at the end he's like listing off 15 people who he's giving credits to. So yeah, he has a whole. He just comes up and records. Even he has people who do the research for him. People who do So
this is like the whole Gary Vee effect, right?
Yeah.
He says, "Hey, make 100 pieces of content a day."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Guys, just do it. Like, if you're not hustling after your 9 to 5, you're losing. You know, if you're 72, like you need to make 100 pieces of content a day, guys. It's all about like self-awareness. You know, you gotta have patience." I'm like, dog, you have people recording video and following you with a camera that's like recording 4K, they're editing for you,
giving him
tweets, ideas, stories. Like, man, come on, man. You can't be lying to common folk about you know, content creation where you have a whole squad making content for you. That's why I don't rate guys like I like Gary Vee, but some of his stuff is just so unrealistic as a content creator.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Someone sent me my cousin sent me his guide, like, oh, this is the best guide to making content. I was
Pillar
like,
content?
I don't know. I didn't even read it because I was like, bro, this is not realistic. None of this is realistic. Yeah. How can I make that much content today?
Especially if you have a full-time job too.
Yeah. So.
That wasn't for us. It was a smart play. What he did was give a free lead magnet to a whole bunch of companies. That's what he really did, because that's what companies can do. They have the budget to hire people.
Exactly.
And now they're gonna be into his funnel of, hey, this is Gary Vee. This is his whole thing.
I actually didn't see it like that, man. That's actually genius.
Good point. Yeah.
Hey, this is my lane right here. You feel me? That's this whole play. But you know what I do commend him for is what he's done with NFTs, because it was incredible. He single-handedly like created $90 million off NFTs. Did you hear about this? Wow. So he created the VFriends system where people have to buy this NFT to get access to a conference that has access to him. So once he does that, and then they can resell it, and then he gets a commission off of the NFT. So he made $40 million off people buying the NFT for the conference.
Damn.
For one. And then the resale of it, he's made another 50. That's insane.
That's insane. That is.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's like the power that's out here right now. So I'm like, all right, we gotta start looking into NFTs because everybody's jumping on it. But like, the thing is how do you not have squirrel syndrome as an entrepreneur? You know, especially as content creators like we are. It's so easy to be like, oh my God, Pinterest has TikToks now. Yes. LinkedIn has TikToks now. And you gotta balance your time with the output. You know what I'm saying? How's that been for you?
Good so far. I feel like, I don't know, ever since quitting my job, it's like, because I was doing so much at my job, like managing the two of them, this seems like, oh, it's so much
two
easier.
Lives.
Yeah. So this seems so much easier just doing one. I batch create a lot, so I will record a bunch of videos on one day and then, post them for the month. So I feel like that makes it much easier for me. I do on Instagram, I'm posting every single day, so that's getting to be kind of a lot. And I'm sure you've seen my stories; they're like so long. But people watch every single one. Like they'll tell me, "Oh, I love your stories. You're the only story that I watch." Like, and I'm like, if this is 50 slides, I'm not watching anyone's story that's that long. So
you exit.
Yeah, I exit that immediately. But yeah, so far the content creation's going pretty well.
So YouTube and Instagram is your main platforms that you're focusing on?
Yeah, and then I have TikTok as well, where I just do like a daily vlog of what I'm doing as a content creator. And I also have Pinterest, but I don't create content specifically for Pinterest, I would say. I reshare my reels and my TikToks onto Pinterest. So it's not like I'm doing extra work for that. And my Pinterest, I have like 70 followers, but I have like 30,000 views on it each month. So it's going pretty well for not doing
something right.
Yeah, if I actually put in more effort, I'm sure it could do pretty well.
Pinterest is a sleeper. Like I'm getting a few clients that are interested in Pinterest.
Oh, yeah?
And it's powerful because it's an SEO platform, right?
Yes.
Versus Instagram is not as yet a SEO platform
at all.
You know, so
that platform, all they do is change things and make
Every day
updates nobody
new.
Asked for. Yeah. But you need to be on it. I have great engagement on Instagram, so I will not be leaving it.
How's LinkedIn doing for you? I see you on LinkedIn now.
It's doing pretty well, actually. I started my own business page on it. I have 500 followers now. It's been a month and a half, so doing pretty well. And
the interaction, is looking proper. I saw.
Every single post, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really engage in anyone's posts on LinkedIn that often. So I'm like, oh, people really like my posts. And a lot of reshares, which is the interesting part. People like the graphics that I've been posting on LinkedIn. I used to just post them on Twitter, on Instagram, but now I just post them on LinkedIn as well. And it's doing pretty well. So can't complain.
So going back, as now you're quitting your job, you're doing this full time. What does a day-to-day in Reni the Resource life look like?
I guess it changes every day, but for the most part, I wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. I work out. I try to work out every day just because it helps me with mental clarity. It really helps. I'm not working out for physical reasons, just for my mind. And then I will try to eat breakfast because, it really helps when I do eat breakfast. And then I go into whatever it needs. I try to put all my meetings for the week in 1 or 2 days so that I'm not having meetings all week. Because I do have quite a few meetings, just pitching brands, meeting with different brands. Some brands will find me on Instagram and say, hey, we'd like to talk to you, different things like that. And then editing, the bane of my existence. I literally hate editing, and it takes up a lot of my time, which is why I'm about to outsource it. And then batch content creation. So typically on a Monday or Tuesday, I'll record a bunch of videos and then edit them out for a few days. Every day I try to make a TikTok just about what's going on in my everyday life. And I guess that would be the majority of what I do on it. It seems easy. It seems like fun.
It seems like a fun day.
It is a fun day.
I actually want to have a day like that. Just work out, talk to brands.
Yeah, and the flexibility is what I really like because I can travel whenever I want. Because I went to Atlanta last month. I can make content from there. It's pretty easy to do that. So I really like the flexibility that I have with this job. And if I have an appointment midday, it's not like I have to tell my manager oh, hey, I've got to go for 2 hours. And then, I just leave.
Just do your thing.
Just do my thing. Yeah. It's really, my mom's like, what are you even doing? Do you even work? But then she sees the videos that I'm putting out consistently. I post a video every single week. I post on Instagram every single day. I'm pretty consistent. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun work, I would say.
It's fun work.
Yeah.
It's what you're passionate about. They say some people work to live, and some people live to work.
Yes.
So it sounds like you are living to work because it's what you do best at.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thrive in that.
Mostly.
Yeah.
So I want to switch the topic up a bit and get into some action items for our audience, And
I was just about to say that as well.
Yeah, and really start getting into giving them some value that they can take with them, some homework, you know what I'm saying? So if I was just getting into stocks, and of course it's not financial advice.
We're not financial advisors.
Yes.
Disclaimer.
What advice would you give someone? Not advice. What information would you give them when it comes to starting out, getting into stocks, getting into mutual funds, getting into ETCs? What would you say?
Okay, first, if you're in Canada listening, I'm sure you guys have viewers from all around the world, but I'd say if you're in Canada listening, look at the different options, or any country actually, look at the different options of accounts that you have available to you. Because I think a lot of people hear about investing in the open, like a taxable account, but there's so many tax-free options, especially here in Canada. So open a tax-free savings account, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, so RRSP. Those are two options that I would start off with before you even look at the taxable options. And then start doing research. A lot of people will just buy whatever they see online, on Twitter, different things like that. That's not the way to do it. I have bought like a stock where because of what other people said, and it never has worked out for me. Like cannabis stocks, for example, people were like, "Oh, this is the next big thing." Yeah, it didn't do well at all. So I would say stick to the tried, true, tested companies that have been doing well for years and years and years. And then pick a platform that makes sense for you. Don't just go with what everyone says again. Like pick some platforms. If you go with a bank, for example, it's very easy it's like very simple. You connect your checking account to your investing account. It's very simple to just transfer money, but then you have to pay high fees. Whereas if you are with something like a Wealthsimple or a Questrade, there are lower fees or even free, but then you may like have to take 3 days to transfer money from your bank account to that account. So pick whatever works for you for your situation. If you're a beginner, I would suggest something like Wealthsimple or Questrade. They're cheaper, and if you don't have a lot of money, they're cheaper to start off with. And then when you're picking the actual stock or ETF or index fund, again, choose something that is not trendy, but something that's tried, true, and tested. For example, this is not financial advice, but I love like a Microsoft, an Apple. These are companies that have been around for a very long time.
Yeah, they perform well.
Yeah, no matter what's going to happen, I don't think Microsoft's just going to suddenly crash and burn, unlike some of these new companies that we don't know. So I try to stick with those like stable companies that have great results year over year, not worried about them. They also pay dividends, both of them. So you're winning on both fronts. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, it's funny you say that with new companies. Did you hear about Bumble?
Yeah. What happened to their stock?
Yo, Bumble, their stock decreased by $2 billion.
Huh?
Yeah, y'all have heard about this?
Yeah, I was looking at the stock yesterday. It opened at $72, and I had thoughts of shorting the stock, right? Mm-hmm. But
don't start with that. Also, beginners, don't start with trying to do options short.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like next level. But like, I kind of bought some shares. I made money like as it opened, but then I was like, this is a play. It's too overvalued for what it is.
Yeah.
And I was so right with that play. It's just like now it's trading at $32 from like when it opened at $80.
When?
This is about 4 months ago when it became public, and it just lost so much value over time. I haven't done research into it, like why it did, but I just knew like this is like an overhyped stock right now. It's in the market, but it's definitely not. It's not $80 worth. Shares. The valuation is extremely too high.
That sucks. That really sucks.
Are you pulling up the story?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Yeah.
That really sucks.
You know what I think it was? There was a lot of news around her because she was like a female entrepreneur.
Single mom, I think.
And the Tinder whole thing. She left Tinder. She started Bumble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she had her baby with her when opening the stock.
Yeah. Like the whole optics of it was just like, oh my God, I got to support that, right?
I'm glad I didn't, but like.
And you can easily get a lot of, and this is not to say like anything with it, but a lot of girls who support women entrepreneurs, they'll be like, I want to support her. Let me buy the stock as soon as it's gone public.
I guess I'm not one of those girls.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is me making assumptions, right? Yeah. So I can see a crowd like that, like soon as Bumble goes public, they're going to support the stock by like buying shares into it, which like, of course, makes it go higher. Yeah, but the true fundamentals of the business might not really support its $80 valuation.
How does Bumble make money?
Premium accounts, okay. Right? So they have like certain things. You can buy like different coins. You can buy stickers. You can buy certain premium spotlight features, which, give you access to like a top tier passports to go to like different countries to talk to different people. So they have many different options you can buy. Like, so as you're using the app, you unlock other features because you're like, okay, I want to get, so they make you plateau with who you can see and, how many people are seeing you. So, okay, pay this to get to a spotlight or pay this to get this feature.
Okay.
And then you find yourself paying more and more and more. And then there's subscriptions as well, which like give you access to premium matches, right? So it's actually beneficial for women who want to weed out like the waste guys.
Yeah.
And it's actually beneficial for the men who are serious about looking for relationships.
Man, I don't even know where to start with Bumble, man. I'm so green to that. I don't know nothing about Bumble.
Right?
You just put me on. I was like, okay, that's how it works here.
Right.
Say
I
word.
mean, I've been on dating apps, bro. Like I've been using, I got off Bumble. I started using Hinge. So Hinge actually showed me the most success actually, right? But,
We love it.
but Bumble, like the girls are good, but like Hinge is just way better. You know, like the business model is nicer. You get quality premium matches. I mean, yeah.
I hear you. Listen, we both in the taking life, so
Yeah.
we don't know.
We can't relate.
I'm sorry, dog.
So as I'm talking, you guys have no clue what
We
I'm
literally
saying.
are
I'm like, word?
Yeah. No idea. Zero clue.
Man, you know,
Most definitely. But honestly, though, like, can I be honest with you? I never saw Bumble working, to be honest with you.
Really?
Because I was like,
As a business.
As a business, because like girls hollering at guys.
Oh, wait, so only girls can...
Girls, exactly. So,
Oh.
like, you match with a girl, she has to message you first.
Oh. But
It's
that's
about,
safe
like,
for...
this
I feel
women
like that's safe.
empowerment
That's...
thing.
I like that, actually. I think that's a good way to...
But technically, like, look, in life, guys actually approach women.
Yeah, but this is not... It's
Girls
not
are horrible at approaching guys.
Are they
Yo,
though?
look,
Horrible.
Are they
you're on
though?
Bumble, right? And then you match with a girl,
Hey.
and then she just says, "Hey."
Okay, and... You
But,
guys
like-
should know.
but-
you should know by just by her starting the conversation. That's how you should know. It's like, you know, when girls like...
But Reni, you just proved my point.
Listen, you know when girls like will like your photos? That's how you know they're trying to holler at you.
But why can't you just like flirt, like say, yo, I'm feeling you? Like, why does like guys actually have to do the most? It's like
As they should.
with girls liking guys first and saying, hey, it's actually so counterproductive.
So, all right. So, here's...
But you get what I'm saying,
I'll show you
right?
some bail. So, if I'm a girl on Hinge, or if I'm a guy on Hinge, and I get 10 matches, and I get 10 hays.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you start the convo.
So, but that's not how the app is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the girl starting a convo.
But they're able to choose who they want to start a convo with. I don't know. I've never used
so is
dating app. I
that
don't
starting
know.
a convo? That's not really starting a convo. It's really just saying...
Fair enough.
But when you slide on girls' DMs and everything like that, or you go and like message them on Bumble, it's like you have to come up with like a creative line.
Yeah.
But girls are not creative like that. They
Yeah.
just say, hey.
Maybe the girls that are hollering at you are not creative.
No, okay. I'm speaking from actually just a general populace, like saying girls are saying,
Yeah,
hey.
he's speaking on guys, because girls
Exactly.
overall... like
Some girls have said, hey, like, I like this picture of yours.
Is that not good? Not a good enough for you?
I'm saying that's just like 1 out of like 10.
So that line's good enough for you?
It's different.
It's different. It just shows they actually put in effort than just saying, hey.
A lot of girls don't put in effort.
Yeah.
A lot of
How do
girls
you
don't.
know?
Because I used to be on Tinder. I remember my girl on
Okay.
Tinder. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And a lot of girls would not put in effort. Or if they did, it was on some weirdo stuff. Like, it was on some weird, like, race talk.
man.
Or, I don't even, like, it's hard to remember now. It was, like, literally 6 years ago.
It's completely different.
Yeah, 6 years ago in a few days. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Didn't your anniversary just happen
That's
last
what I'm saying. Sorry, 60 years ago past.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a long time. When I was on it, it was free completely. They're just
The
trying
matching
it
was
out.
easy, you
So
know,
I was like, let's
everything's
go.
Yeah.
But it was a whole different game, a whole different ball game. You know.
So you never saw Bumble working?
Nah, I was on it. Like, you know what's funny? I was on Bumble. Like, I signed up for Bumble, and this wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just like deleted the app, not the profile. The app. So I went back on Tinder, met my girl, and started gallivanting about life. You get me? So 2-2s happen now, and someone sees my Bumble profile while I'm with my girl.
Oh, no.
So they're like, yo, how come you're on Bumble? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? You
Well,
know what I'm
good thing
saying?
they went to you, not her. Because that could have been
Facts.
problems.
Facts. So yeah, that could have been a problem. So crisis averted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But
Some
yeah.
girls who actually do that, they get their friends to join apps just to see if they're going to catch
Yeah.
their man.
Yeah.
Or loyalty test their man.
Loyalty
you know,
test,
slide
yeah.
in the DMs. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's
Oh,
going
yeah, I've seen
on?
those on TikTok. Girls will, people are paying this girl to flirt with their boyfriend. Said,
What do you think about that?
I think that's toxic, extremely toxic.
Yeah.
Like if you have to pay someone to do that, you need to break up with that guy because you do not trust him at all. Yeah, and they all fail, all of them, every single one of them fail. I swear. So yeah, they needed to break up. Their hunch was right. I feel like women need to listen to their intuition more. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
I agree. Women definitely need to listen to their intuition more. And there's actually a guy version of that too on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Where guys will pay a guy to holler at their girl, holler at their mom.
Does that work?
Yes, actually.
Because I feel like guys holler at girls literally every day in their DMs, and we just ignore it.
Like when they end a relationship?
Yeah.
So
guys holler like all the time, and you just ignore them, right?
Yeah.
Word. And here's the thing too, that like if a girl answers the DM, that means there's like a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
There's an in.
There's an in, you know what I'm saying? She might be like, if you slide in the girl's DM, and we're way off topic here, but I'm loving it.
I'm not.
Just
chop it up, bro.
And she says, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's an in. Correct me if I'm wrong.
How?
Because if she has a
boyfriend, she should just
not answer at all. Exactly. If she's answering saying I have a boyfriend, that means like get creative. She's telling you to get creative.
I don't know about that. The guy who's trying to holla should see that as a stop sign. No, you shouldn't see that as a green light.
No, I don't think you should see it as a green light. In most cases, 99% of cases.
I feel like, but I don't know.
It's like one of those guys who hit on you and they say you say I have a boyfriend. So it's like, oh, you're not allowed to have any friends.
Yeah. Ugh. The worst. Toronto man's the worst.
You're not have any friends, eh? You can't have any friends? Well, go on, shorty.
No, I do not. I do not need any friends. Thank you very much.
You got enough. Keep the circle tight.
Exactly. No new friends.
You got the career going. You got the YouTube account going. Mm-hmm. You got the Instagram account going, flowing. And you have an investment portfolio. Let's wrap it up on that. You know, what are some of the things that's been beneficial to you, and what are some things you're looking forward to do in the future?
With my investment portfolio? That's a good question. So I touched 100K in my investment portfolio, so that was a big milestone.
Jeez.
Are you revealing that soon?
Yeah, but I need a bit more views before I can review it.
Maybe this can be the one that takes you to the top.
I know, right? But yeah, I will be reviewing it shortly. In the new year, I will. Because yeah, people have been asking for it. So coming soon, I'll be showing you the stocks in my portfolio and ETFs and index funds in my portfolio. What am I looking forward to next year? Hopefully we can touch 200K by next year. And then what was the other question? What have been the learning?
Yeah, what are some of the lessons you've learned over the last period?
Don't invest in the hype because it fails me every time. Invest in the companies that are tried and true, as I said before, and like continue to invest in. You don't just need to buy one stock and hold it. Like if you believe in that company, no matter what the price is, like I do dollar cost averaging, so no matter what the price
What
is.
is dollar cost averaging?
How do I explain this? Owen, no.
You're Reni the resource.
It's basically like you're continuously purchasing a company at different prices, no matter what the price is. So say when I was trying to buy Shopify, I was investing like $250 a week, not much. So I could only buy one stock a week. I would just keep buying no matter what the price was. Sometimes it would be 190 or sometimes it would be what else?
I don't know. Keep going. It's okay.
Sometimes it would be 190, sometimes it would be 220, sometimes whatever the price was, I'm going to continuously buy it. Some people take the other option and they're like, okay, I'm only going to buy when the market is down. But like I feel like trying to time the market just doesn't make sense. So what I do is I continuously buy no matter what. And that's how I accumulated a lot of Shopify in my portfolio, even though like they weren't all purchased at the same price because I just didn't have the money to just buy a lump sum of those.
Got you.
Yeah.
So every period, let's say it's every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I got 250.
Yeah.
250.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what the price is, 250. And just keep hitting it over and over and over. That's dollar cost averaging.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the average will be somewhere, the average price will be somewhere, however the market has fluctuated.
Yeah, it's always going to regress back to like the mean, right? Like where it's like, so when they do the financials, it's like there's the weighted average cost of capital, and everything is always going to regress back to like, okay, what's the true actual value of a company? So even if Elon Musk says, yo, my company, this is a stock that's way overvalued, even if you buy it, it's always going to come back to reflect like the true actual Tesla value stock. So when like he comes and says, yo, like this is not actually the price of Tesla, right? he's looking at like, okay, this is actually like what the price is. It's going to always come back to this number as the business is actually performing to its actual performance, not just the stock itself.
Got you. Awesome.
So that has worked really well for me. Don't panic sell is another lesson that I've learned. Like I would say I check my portfolio literally twice a month. So it's not like I am an active investor or anything. I just buy every time I get paid and then I leave it for the next pay period. That's how I've been working so far. But especially when the market crashed in like March of 2020 and I was about to buy my house, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to I need to start selling because I need money for my down payment and I won't be able to close, right? So, because I closed in May. So, but my dad was like, no, just hold it. Just hold it. The market will come back. And I was like, okay, Dad, if you say so. And then thankfully I did and it bounced back. And I think it hit, a lot of stocks hit a lot of highs. Yeah. So I'm glad that my biggest lesson would be like, do not panic sell. When the market is low, actually that's the time to buy rather than the time to sell. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's one thing I'm looking forward to with this Amarian variant, is what opportunities we can actually take advantage of now. Yeah. You know, a lot of people are going to be inside and listen to content. That's where we can win. A lot of stocks are going to be tumbling down. Yes, that's where we can win.
Facts. Yeah, I was looking at a lot of companies. A lot of them are at their 52-week lows. Like a lot of the companies that I invest in. So I'm like, okay, Square is at this 52-week low. Like these are the companies I already invest in. So
even Gap. I was looking at Gap.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah. Gap's like they had a big crash down because of Black Friday, but like the stock is actually solid. It's just like, they were reinvesting the money. I mean, this is like another chapter later. But just adding to your list of stocks, which I was looking at, I was like, Gap is like a major player.
PayPal too is at a major 52-week low. So
yeah.
There's money to be made in the lows.
There's so much bread to be made. That's the thing. I was just like, man, there's no excuse. Like, there's no excuse to not be a millionaire in 20 years. You know what I mean? Right. If you just do prudent investing over time, like you'll touch that number.
And do you invest in index funds or?
Yeah. I just actually started doing more index funds recently.
I just started after 7 years of investing.
I know. Yeah. They seem so boring. You know what I mean? They're not like, it's not Apple.
Yeah. But boring is nice, right?
Like, boring makes money.
As long as it's increasing. Boring
BBB.
Yeah.
Boring brings bucks.
One question for you. We've talked about your gains, but what is your biggest loss?
In my investment portfolio?
In your investment career?
Good question. I feel like there's a company called Big Commerce. Yeah. And right now it's down in my portfolio by, I think it's 30% or something like that. So I think that's my biggest loss right now. I'm holding it still.
But you never take L's.
Well, I haven't sold at a loss so far, but
so you're winning.
I'll just hold it until what's the benefit of selling at a loss to me, right? So I would just continue to hold it until hopefully it's gonna bounce back. When my dad was telling me about it, he's like showing me all the financials and saying it's gonna be the next Shopify. I was like, okay, I believe you because of what he told me last time. So I purchased it last year, I believe. But
yeah, even like Lightspeed too. Like Lightspeed is like another Shopify platform, but they power like big businesses and etc.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. Which is like the stock is like so low right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like $52, but it was like $120 like not too long ago. But it's just like a lot of internal stuff, but it's actually way higher than it should be.
What's your biggest L?
Pardon?
What's your biggest L in your portfolio?
You really don't want to know that. It's like
let's go.
My biggest L is I got caught up in the cannabis wave as well too, right?
Yeah.
So there's one stock called MedMen out in California.
Okay.
So MedMen, their whole thing is their cannabis stores are very Apple-like. The way they're designed, the way when you walk in, it's like the products on the wall, like it's just like very, very. So they're doing well at the time. So I was banking on, and this is like before I was doing my research proper. This is like me rookie investments and everything like that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me drop $3,000 on this stock. So I went in on $3,000 on MedMen, thinking that because I was looking at Tilray, Aurora, and these are like
I invest in Aurora.
Yeah, and they're like flourishing at the time, right? This is like 2017.
Back in the day.
So soon as legalization happened, I remember first day, like a market open, it was like down 200. I was just like, okay, this is definitely not looking right. So I'm like, I believed in the stock, right? I really believed in the company. I kept holding. Like a month goes by, I'm like down like $800. But
Yikes.
I was kind of like what you call in gambling. I was pot committed.
Yeah.
Meaning like I'm going to go down. I'm holding on to the ship no matter what. So eventually, you know, when you lose so much that it's like, I got to find a way to come back. I'm not taking my losses. I just stuck with it. So it reached a point of like no return. I'm like, man, you know what? You're already down so much. Let's just take the major L and go with it. So I essentially lost $2,400 on the stock.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
How's it doing now?
It's gone. I mean, like the stock like the company? No, it went down into smithereens. It's like trading at $2 right now when I bought it at $9.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
yeah.
That's one caution story I always tell people, like don't go over the hype. That's why even like the AMC stuff,
Stayed away.
The GameStop, it's very tempting. My friend made like 40 grand off GameStop.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But they knew when to sell. Like they sold at a good time.
They sold, but they still kept some stock in it, right? So they still trading at like $132 right now. But I text him like, hey bro, like did you get in GameStop? He's just like, dude, like I'm up like 40K right now, right?
Wow.
So I think he took that money and he spent it on him and his girl bought like another Airbnb.
Smart.
So he's eating right now. So he played it smart. He came in, but he had cash from doing a lot of Airbnb stuff. So he had money to play with, so which is very admirable. But yeah, that's my biggest L.
Nice.
$3,000.
Do you have a big L?
Honestly, don't. As you can see, I'm a very novice person when it comes to stocks. I'm taking my time and dipping my toe. The only thing I could say I've taken a bit of L on was Bitcoin. I got in late.
There's no late. You're early now.
Early still.
You're still early. Did you sell it?
No.
Okay, you're early.
I didn't sell anything. Yeah, I'm dipping my toe in and everything. So I'm still like, I only have like $1,000 in stocks right now. To keep it honest, you know.
Keep it a buck, man.
Yeah, so I'm still super, new into stocks. I mean, the mutual funds have a lot. You know what I'm saying? My TFSA.
You always been a mutual fund guy.
I hate mutual funds. Or managed mutual funds. I hate them.
What?
Because
the returns are so low?
Yeah, the returns are so low, and I feel like a lot of people actually lose money after fees. So I feel like there's like what do you know what the fee is that you're paying?
I don't. No.
Yeah, I just feel like the return is just so low, and that you could do the same thing with the index fund. It's the same thing that they're doing. So I'm not a fan of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I need to look into.
If you like mutual funds, check out index funds.
Okay.
Or even ETFs.
Index funds.
No, I have a few ETFs. I have QQQ.
QQQ.
And I have another Apple index fund, not index fund, ETF.
Or even index funds that track the S&P 500 or something like that. Yeah, like
I'm in S&P.
Yeah.
There's one thing Warren Buffett was saying that, a lot of people try and beat the market.
Yeah. But
you can't beat the market at all, right? If you try and average is like 8%, 9%, like on a good year. But a lot of he challenged hedge fund guys. They're like, okay, I'm gonna take index funds over this year and just invest in them over time. And you try and pick stocks which you think are gonna like beat the market. You do what you use your quantitative models and everything and try and beat the market. And they could not beat index funds at all. They can't. Like, index funds are so safe. They're like true, tried and tested.
So what are some good index funds?
It's
so hard to say. Like the Vanguard stuff are pretty good.
Exactly. That's the only index fund I own at the moment.
Yeah.
But there's VOO, which is Vanguard's. It tracks the S&P 500, so the top 500 companies in the States. And then the Canadian version is VFV, but it still tracks the S&P 500. That's what I invest in.
Even the bank index funds are pretty good too.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. My banks, I guess they're solid. That's the thing about banks. Like are you talking about investing in a bank or in
index funds? Like for banks, like
which one?
Like BMO.
I don't invest in banks anymore.
You don't?
No. That's where I started off, but I don't invest. I just feel like the growth is so low with them.
Yeah, like they don't move crazy like
but you
that.
do get consistent dividends, and they just Canadian banks just increase their dividends year over year. So I guess it depends on what you like.
Yeah, if it's a very, very safe investment.
Extremely. And I always tell people, if you are just starting investing, sure, invest in a bank because your money will probably not go down like over time.
It will not.
Yeah.
It will absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Like BMO's been around for 200 years. It's older than Canada.
And they've never missed a dividend payment. Even on a down year back in like 2017, they still paid out a dividend.
Yeah. So it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the growth is slow.
Yeah, but if you want to make money, like index funds is where
I worked at BMO, right? And my shares, I was just investing 3% of my paycheck, and it turned into $25,000. So it's a safe bet. Yeah, it's definitely a safe bet.
Most definitely. Well, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or YouTube at xoReni. That's XORENI.
Most definitely. And you can find us on YouTube as well. Hustle Over Everything. Make sure you tap in, subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to her when you're there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hustle is what you can control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Owen.
And I'm Reni.
Hey, she caught it.
She caught it.
And that's Hustle Over Everything, y'all.
Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Yay.
All right on time.
Thank you so much for listening. The conversation continues on our Instagram at 247hustler. We post very frequently. And be sure to check out our merch at hustleovereverything.co. We have some amazing sweaters, hats, mugs, and a lot more. Lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Talk to you next Monday. Peace.